Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of March 7th, 2021. Haha. On the cover, we have, we've got Luffy, Law, and Kid, and I've seen the full cover of Jump, and I understand, there's no way that the banner people for Viz could have possibly cut this. There's no other way. It is just a zoom in on their faces, and it doesn't look like the typical Oda, doing rectangles for the volume situation. It just looks like it's three images of the characters that are already drawn. They're just in there. It's the worst cover I've seen in a while, to be perfectly honest. It's just uninspired. But I'm curious to see why we have this cover. Is it just One Piece's time to have a color page? Are they doing something big? Anyways, let's jump right into Black Clover, chapter 284, Ultimate Magic. Okay, so this is... right, this is where the elves are. Where they're like... Yeah. I thought this was... not Lola Peshka, but, water spirit lady, and I was like, what the fuck is this? But okay. She's not what I was expecting. Yeah, she is the goofiest of all of them. And, yeah. What we're going to teach you is the ultimate magic. It embodies all the magic of its caster. That makes it a unique, unrivaled spell for each individual, the essence of magic. I really like your speech pattern. It sounds really... It's the kind of speech pattern that I would actually like to hear in the anime. It's so... stage energy-y. Okay. See, again, this is a classic Yuki Tabata doing stuff, and then I don't really understand what is going on, but clearly he understands. So, true magic doesn't, in addition to it being, the core of actual magic, it also allows you to use magic you don't have. Your 6 months of training weren't in vain. Right. I do remember... I'm not sure if they said this when they were coming here or not, but I definitely remember them having the monologue of, God damn it, we did the whole time skip, we were training all this time, and we still can't do anything. Was that all pointless? And this is actually a really cool way of doing the, here's the time skip, here's how they've all grown, and then in, a day, essentially, we're going to have them grow even further. This also feels like it ties really nicely into the democratic nature of Black Clover. The idea of, even if you are born without a certain gift or a certain talent, you should be able to, not even work your way up, but everyone should have the right to access the same things as everyone else. They had to put in tons and tons of effort, and they had to, be in, this place, in a place in their lives, and in actual physical places throughout the world, in which they could get closer and closer to the origin of mana. But it does create this clear thing of, being blessed with mana, or being beloved by mana, is not the end-all be-all to becoming closer to it. You can get closer to the origin of souls. You can physically draw yourself closer to mana just by working hard at it. It's a really cool idea. One of the only things that I kind of am into in Mashle is the very hard, these are the limits of the world and they can't be surpassed, and the main characters having this clear focus of, we need to surpass it, which is very much, it's very much just Black Clover Light, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, it's a theme that'll, I think, almost always resonate with me, unless it's done extremely poorly. Oh, this spread is really good. Or not even spread, this lineup. I appreciate that there are people who overlap, but for all of the Clover Kingdom cast, each of them has a unique ability. And plus, it's not it's two of each person. It'd be really weird if they had two people who had true cotton magic. Yeah, how does that work, actually? Are the arrays designed specifically to just only hit devils? Or is it a, if you are my ally through some, primordial understanding of alignments, then this won't hurt you? Because that would actually, magic like that feels like it would be a big game changer for things like in the Elf arc, during the big fight in the heart of the Clover Kingdom between Julius and I can never remember the leader of the Elict, or I think that was False Licht at that time. But that fight would have been like considerably different if they had this ability. In the same way that I'm very down with series that do the like, I'm going to create a bubble in which no damage actually happens, or we're going to go to the mirror world where we can't hurt anyone. Like the ability to expand the scale and power of the fights without like and not just hand waving away the collateral damage, but explicitly showing that yes, we have a mechanic that prevents collateral damage from happening, I think is really cool. Oh, okay, so are these the the brother and sister? Okay, no, mid-ranking devils. So the question is, are these guys going to be just more fodder, or are we going to have to do the, all right, let's split up and fight them one-on-one or two-on-one? Because they do have more distinct designs. They've got the, like, very iconic, like, devil eyes with the super black around each eye. I'm also really, really happy that Luck seems to be, like, the spokesperson for all these powers. Like, I'm pretty sure he was the first one whose true magic we saw. Then he was the one who jumped in here and did the first, like, array that kills devils but doesn't kill humans, or doesn't kill their allies. And now we're going to see his ultimate magic first. Like, I think it fits really well with his whole thing of, like, he's a weird, creepy killer, but at the same time, like, that is his nature. Like, his strength comes from the way he is, like, from being true to himself. Because this is, like, just the way he is, and his alignment with the Black Bulls has all been about, harnessing that energy and using it in a way that is beneficial to everyone, instead of, becoming a psycho. Does he have a tail? Like, it makes sense for sure. Like, all of his abilities have also been, like, in addition to lightning powers, it's been getting faster. I do like the angle of this. That, like, it seems like he dashed in and then did, like, a slicing kick. Like, he sliced the arm, but also kicked it upward somehow. Ultimate lightning magic. Lightning battle fiends. It does look like he's deviled out. Like, in addition to the horns and the tail, he does have, like, the cracks. Like, the things that on other people would be, like, red on black. But I assume this is going to look very, like, Pikachu-ish. Like, I assume it's going to be, like, all yellow with big, like, black or brown streaks. It's a good look. But then the question is, like, is this only his thing? Or are we going to do a, like, the closer you get to the origin of magic, the more devilly you look? Because, like, we've already breached the thing of, like, not all devils are bad. / like, it isn't inherent, like, there is no inherent evil. There is malice, but there isn't, like, like, anyone can be a good guy. I wonder if we are going to get to the, like, in the same way that we started off with all elves are the bad guys, and then we came around to, no, they want to coexist. It's just, we were all being played by the word devil. I wonder if we'll do the exact same thing with the devils. It's burning. No, freezing. And we've got Noct, and he doesn't look like he's... Okay, no, I see. So these are, like, spikes of ice, and then the ice itself is on fire. So I'm guessing, the twins must be fire and ice. I'm not too worried. Like, he's not looking very good right now, but I don't think he's dead. I'm sure he's doing fine. He's looking good. Okay, he's not looking that good, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Depending on whether Noelle can get there, I can actually see them, like, straight up freezing him, like, just cryogenically freezing him and saying, all right, he's done, we can't do anything, let's just keep him on ice until we can heal him some other time. Because I think he has served his purpose in the arc. I would have liked him to finally, like, get to Yami. Like, I would like to see the reunion there. But I think we could also, completely do that afterwards. Like, in the wind down for this arc. Where, Yami's been rescued, and then they defrost Noct, and then they get to have a little talk, and we build up how crazy it's going to be, and then... I imagine it's going to be an anticlimax. Yuki Tabata loves that. But then again, like, I feel like this has to end with Noct saying, all right, like, I've completed my mission, and now I'm just going to live in the house with everyone else now. Like, you don't fully join the Black Bulls until you are just living with them. And I can't imagine that, like, I can't imagine Asta not, like, not wanting Noct to just live in their house again. There's no way he's going to, like, walk off after it. So yeah, he has to do something else in this arc at the very least before he's taken out of commission. Anyways, that's Black Clover. Let's move on to the Elusive Samurai, Chapter 7. Tank units and infantry divisions, battalions of archers and pikemen. In the Kamakura period, no such military units existed. Each warrior had to be proficient in all weapons. Okay. So, is he good? Nah, he ain't good. Oof. Chapter 7, Archery, 1333. So, And yeah, it isn't even like he didn't go all the way through. It is a straight up, like, it bounced off. Like, he does not know the technique for using a sword in the slightest, which I imagine is going to be countered with him being good at archery, 1333. Oh, that's a good point, actually. Since he was slaying his brother's murderer, he put his full weight into it. So it is a, This visual is really, like, I appreciate that it also isn't just the same face copy-pasted over and over again. Like, it is different levels of his, like, Oni-ish look. Overdeveloping his offense would weaken his running away muscles. What are running away muscles? But I get the general idea of it. Plus, archery does make more sense for this skill set. Like, if he is constantly running away and eluding the enemies, and then when he has a free moment, he shoots an arrow. Or if he, like, goads the enemy into following him, and he uses archery in order to hit them, like, as opposed to close-range combats. That's pretty cool. Like, I can't think of a lot of shonen protagonists who, like, exclusively do, like ranged combats. Like, even in series where, like, the primary weapon is a gun, you usually have some sort of, like, well, I gotta get close and we've gotta do the gun kata because it's more exciting. That makes sense. Like, yeah, it is also really, like, it'll be hard to sell people, who will, like, fight on his side and die on his side with the concept of a general who is going to run away constantly. Whereas, like, if you can sell it as the big tactical retreat, like, this is what he is really good at, and he's still, making a dent, and he's still saving the lives of our comrades. Okay, so this, I assume, is a big eye man who can look at ticks. The shading on these eyes. Okay. Now this is a Yusei Matsui character design. I see. It is the, that's actually a cool thing to distinguish as well. Like, in addition to it being a problem now, it also means that any other loyalists that may still be out there will have reduced status. Which is both a, like, they are going to be oppressed, and therefore there is a good reason to go in and try and save them. Like, they're almost certainly never going to, not want your help. And at the same time, it is the, like, we're, no matter how big our forces get, we're still going to be the underdogs until, like, the very end of the series. And maybe not even there. Because, again, like, Tokiyuki Hojo is a footnote in history. Did he already see them, actually? Like, this could be a, before we even had a word that he was coming here, he had already seen them training. Oh, those eyes are so creepy. Like, again, for a gimmick like this, I am really glad that, like, I'm glad at the level of eye flexing we're getting. Like, every time we see these creepy eyes, it doesn't always look like the exact same thing. Oh, is he gonna kill a deer from, like, a deer, again, that none of them can even see? At the shrine, they say it's suspicious to fell a deer with a split ear. Okay. Jesus. So, like, that's not even a, like, concealed flex. That is just, I cut the ears of, the ear of one of your Miko. Whew. Yeah, that's really fucked up. It was a shameful act, and his character is clearly ignoble, but his archery skills were truly beautiful. So, is he, like, are we going to try and recruit him? Which seems impossible. Or is it more of a, like, I'm learning how to do archery, so I want to get as good as him. Oh, I found the perfect instructor. Okay. You have 2 goals for him as well. You must hide your identity from him, at the same time, acquire his skill in archery. So, You will hide yourself, conceal your birth, and observe his skill with the bow. In this game, you must evade his gaze and his bow. Your heart will pound in fear of discovery of an arrow at any moment, but that's exactly what you love. Tokiyuki has, like, it's been pretty consistent, but this is the first time where they've really highlighted how lewd he looks. Like, when he's thinking about running and hiding, like, the shine in his eyes, the blush. The blush especially has been something that's, like, I've found it super noticeable over the, the last few chapters. But even at the start, like, he is a very blushy person. But, like, the shiver of excitement here is really interesting. Like, I appreciate that the series has not posited this as a villainous or, like, a demonic thing. It isn't like Nagisa from Ass Class, where, like, he had this inherent fear of, like, I have these skills that feel perfect for being an assassin, but I fundamentally do not want to kill people. So how do I, like, grow as a human being and grow these abilities and make use of, what I have and of the traumas I've suffered and the, ways in which I've learned how to deal with those traumas? Like, how do I take advantage of all of that without, becoming a bad person? And I think, like, because of the war-like nature of the series, like, it's not that, killing's not off the menu. Like, killing is extremely on the menu. That's not a problem. I guess, what am I trying to say? Like, I'm curious to see how deep into his, like, almost a fetishization of, hiding are we going to get into? Like, it is something he truly loves with all of his heart, but, like, on what level? Like, am I overreading exactly how excited he is about it? Or is it a more innocent, excitement? Like, fundamentally, it feels weird because, he is a kid and this is a life or death game. It does, it excites him. And, it isn't a, I'm going to try and kill him game. It is a, I could die or I could learn something. And, like, the enemy is not going to die either way. It is fundamentally just a thrill that I may or may not be killed in this, extremely daring life or death move. I'm really excited to see what happens next. Like, a good, compelling, like, main character can... Like, I can deal with a lot of flaws if it means the main character is extremely compelling. Let me just set that up. And do let me know if I am visible and if my screen is visible and if all is good. Nanya everyone, it's Thermite and this is Weekly Shonen Jump. I just finished the pre-recordeds, getting on to the live stream. Now, I say that, I actually forgot to rank these two series, so let me do that real quick. This was a good Elusive Samurai, but it wasn't as good as this Black Clover, so I'll just get that out of the way. This chapter did make me very excited, though. Like, not necessarily in the plot, but just the character of Tokiyuki is, finally gripping me. Anyways, let's smoothly move on to everyone's favorite sports, baseball. We've got... 9 Dragons Ball Parade, Chapter 4, Yoshitaka Tsurugi. Seamless. By the way, I recently learned, I'm sure someone may have posted it on the server, but I didn't notice it if that was the case. I apologize. But I did see that the, like, Japanese name of the series is Kowloon's Ball Parade. Like, 9 Dragons is in, the city in China. The, like, yeah. Like, it is a specific mythical term. So, like, I'm bringing that up specifically because I was so fixated on the Dragon's Ball bit in the middle that I didn't consider that, it is 9 dragons as in, the team as in, yeah, you get it. Houmii may have told me that. I feel like every week I do a big ol', like, hey, here's something that I've never heard of this before, but Houmii did post about it. I apologize, my memory is very, very bad. And as penance for that, as penance for the constant Houmii dunking, I will check out your rankings before I get into the author comments. I'm not going to make it a timestamp, but I will make myself a little note here real quick so I don't forget. I would like to doubly repeat, this is not actually going to be a timestamp. This will not be in the final version. I don't want to get on the slippery slope of people in the chat having their own sections. I don't want to open up the potential for Zaku's spicy stoning time. All right, so Nine Dragons Ball Parade. I assume this is their first new person they're getting. So how are they gonna do this? Like, I feel like if the goal is to get a bunch of misfits, we have to start off pretty strong, but not so strong that he overshadows everyone else. Like, at least one person here is probably going to be some sort of like hardcore gangster, but I don't think we're gonna start off with like a Yakuza member. I feel like it's going to be more of a like, I'm a shut-in. It could be either I'm a shut-in or I'm a criminal, but I didn't really do the crime. Because I think that then opens up the possibility for their final member being, I am a criminal and I did do the crime, but if you let me out on bail, I will be on your team. Ooh, will do. Like, as much as I do the big ol' Houmii dunks, I have to say, like, I will always and forever be extremely glad that you recommended Mary Grave to me, because it was a fantastic series, and it's one of those series where if I had put it off, I don't think anyone would ever talk about it again. And I'm really happy that I could have done that. That, I was there for it being serialized. So, I do take your recommendations, pretty bigly. Boy, my vocabulary is deteriorating super fast. They've got so much pep. I mean, to be fair, that's also because they don't have, they're not like practicing or anything. I feel like once the team is put together, we'll have a hard contrast with this opening where, everyone's barely getting there on time because they're always exhausted all the time. Oh no, Zaku's spicy Shirato. By the way, if you want to watch the best I'm gonna say it, the best shonen battle action series isekai of 1989, please check out Legend of Heavenly Sphere Shirato. It's good. I got a we have been on these two pages for so long, and I haven't talked about them at all. So, they have a pitcher and a catcher. We absolutely need a powerful cleanup hitter to be on our lineup. So, okay. By the way, I do want to appreciate how, like, gung-ho Karen is. Like, we know that she's gung-ho, but I would have taken a lesser series to, have her do that in the previous chapter and then kind of tone it back down. But she is so relentlessly optimistic. It makes me really, really like her. So, okay, the Soaring Falcon Ichimonji, Yoshitaka Tsurugi. So he dropped out. I assume, like, this has to be again, if every person they recruit is going to have an absolute love of the game, then this can't be oh, I don't like baseball anymore. It has to be something bigger. The fate of the 9 dragons depends on our success today. Not what I was expecting. But yeah, and like, it does look like the second story is also, like, a toy store. I mean, it might not be. It could just be like, he has posters up there, but that is a living space. But it sure looks like this is just a store, and he also lives in the store. Oh, he's so precise. Oh? But okay, he's not mad, but he's also not, like, overly trying to comfort her. Oh, he's so fast! Get yourself a boy who can button up your shirt in an instant. And yeah, I definitely think they'll all have animal pun names. I see. Of course. I've seen enough series to be absolutely predictable. The mangaka knew everyone was going to assume he was going to be a big old punk who, smashing people with his baseball bats. No, we're not looking for toys today. We want you! Karen is so good! But I mean, like, I appreciate her taking the direct tactic, but obviously it's not gonna work. Like, so many other people already tried to recruit him. I have no intention of playing baseball again. I'm tired of it. There's no way. These kids love him so much. So, what? Like, that has been the main focus. It has been, like, his interactions with the kids. And he does like them, but he's not, like, extremely doting on them or anything. is it that he just likes the toy store more? Or, well, no, because it seems like he was suddenly called away. Like, without any time to prepare. He didn't say, like, okay, at the end of the season, I'm dropping out. So, maybe it is, like, the toy store itself. Like, whether it is his parents or, like, if he's being raised by someone else, if they, like, suddenly needed him to take over completely. Or it could be a, like, we can't take care of the toy store anymore, and all the kids love the toy store. So, like, even though you could become a big baseball player and make money and, like, support yourself that way, like, it would be really good if you could keep this bastion of the community alive. That would be cool, but then I don't actually know how you would, like, how would you work around that? Ah, that guy is full of baloney. He is lying. They're two peas in a pod already. I love him so much. Okay, so he's Callus's, so, like, he is consistently still batting. This is the ultimate duality of, extremely smart boy noticing some Sherlock-level details, and then extremely dumb boy just going like, yeah, when he heard us mention baseball, I thought I saw his eyes get all sad. Yeah, you know what? That's a little creepy. That is borderline stalker behavior. I don't fully mean that, but you know what? Yeah, I agree. That does feel a little weird. This also does make, like, it does make him feel like a character, like having so many testimonials as to what he is like. Like, with Ryudo, we didn't really have testimonials, but we didn't need them because he was the main character. Like, we saw all of Chapter 1 through his eyes, so he can testify for himself. With Azu, it made enough sense as just a, like, sure, like, we get him, and he doesn't seem that complex. And I feel like that's definitely leaving an intentional space open. Like, after the entire team is assembled, I imagine we might have an Azu arc where, we get into his problems, or, there's a problem with his life, and then everyone has to come together to help him with it. Every series should involve some bunny testimony. I would prefer cat testimony, but bunny testimony is extremely strong. Also, actually, wait a minute. Is this bunny from his elementary school? Because if the bunny is from his elementary school, how long do bunnies live? I guess that makes sense, actually. Like, I don't remember how the Japanese school system works. But if it's only, like, it would just have to be a couple of years. So it'd be fine, I guess, yeah. I don't know why my brain defaulted to bunnies only live 1 year. So how could this bunny have been named by Tsurugi? Who is this? His father or grandfather, perhaps? 9 years. Really? Damn. That's pretty cool. See, now this is also a little stalkery. You can't just show up to his house after meeting him once. We've been investigating you, Tsurugi, and we've learned the answer. Tsurugi, we know the real reason why you quit baseball. Like, he still clearly likes it, and, like, he's clearly proud of his swing in particular. Like, he's still been training all this time. And it's interesting that I can't really see any clues here that that are a very obvious, like, at this time he felt like this, or, like, he always had a sick mom or something. Also, who is this? Because this person doesn't, like, I feel like if this was his grandpa or something, he would have said something like just, oh, Tsurugi. Whereas he said both names. So maybe he's just like a baseball fan or something. And yeah, like, I think it'd be super obvious if it was, like, his parents owned the toy store and they died and then he had to, like, take over. Or, like, they went to the hospital. Because I feel like people would know about that. It would be very obvious, like, oh yeah, he's the only one running the toy store because his parents are in a bad situation. Like, that's obviously why it happens. So it has to be something that isn't obvious and that people who know him, like, including his teammates, wouldn't have been able to guess. This Karen pose is so strong. My favorite still has to be, Chapter 2 was when she was introduced, right? It was somewhere near the end of Chapter 2. Like, it's the one where, like, it's like clothing, skin, clothing, skin, clothing, skin. Like, it's so perfectly segmented. Yeah, this pose specifically. It just has such strong energy. This one feels more powerful, but there's something about the art here that I'm just super into. But I appreciate how dynamic all of her motions are. And, like, she has a lot of, like, hand-talky energy. The pieces aren't all quite there, but I feel like my best guess is his parents were going to close down the toy store, and they're still doing fine. Like, the toy store is just a separate thing. Or it could even just be like, one of his uncles ran the toy store and then he retired. And so he can't bear to not have the toy store open because it makes the kids happy. And that's also why he's putting all of his effort into making it as pristine and as, like, perfect as possible. But yeah, that's basically all I've got. Good chapter. Can't say it was, like, knock my socks off, but it was a good one. I'll slide it just below the Elusive Samurai. Like, the cast is fine, but so far, like, we haven't hit critical mass on the cast. Like, we're not at the point where I could say, like, I would just watch, I would just read a full chapter of these people just talking to each other. And I'm really hoping that we do get to that point. Like, when we get to you can just throw the characters in a room and it'll be fun. And this was fun enough, but it was, it was average. All right, with that, let's move on to Witch Watch, Chapter 5, The Flying Classroom. So, how could this possibly go wrong? Hey, you're childhood friends with the witch, right? Can you ask her to turn me into a chair? I want to use Bukujutsu. What's Bukujutsu? I feel like I've heard that before. Ah, flying like Goku. I see. Those are the two flavors of man. Man who wants to be sat on, man who wants to fly like Goku. Honestly, I'm also very into the idea of Nico, like, especially this early on, if we move some of the idiot ball away from her, like, if she is still carrying the idiot ball in the sense that she's willing to go along with what the class wants, but a lot of the more eccentric stuff is, the class saying, like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you turn us all into chairs? Can you turn all the chairs into students and all the students into chairs? It's just this one spell that shifts gravity sideways. Oh boy. This is such a good gag. Like, it's really visually impressive. And I know logically, you could probably get away with this by just, turning the page every once in a while and then, drawing the character sitting normally. But it looks really, really strong. Yeah, like, I do genuinely appreciate how Witch Watch has been, like, dialing in on the gags. Like, the first two chapters were with some good stuff, but I feel like it's really getting refined. I mean, I say that, but watch Chapter 5 be extremely unfunny after this point. Oh boy, what could a magic icebreaker be here? I mean, this could just be the running joke of Moi going like, hey guys, don't use magic, and then they use magic and they have fun, but I'm wondering if we're also going to do a, like, things get out of control, and then everyone finally realizes, like, okay, maybe we should be listening to Moi. He's a bit of a killjoy, but you know what? He actually has a point. Oh, Bukujutsu for everyone! Oh, this can't be okay. Like, this isn't just, hey, why don't you fly? It is, let's have, like, an entire class of non-magical people fly around. Oh no, this can't end well. As long as you're standing inside it, anyone can fly. Damn. But okay, so it isn't a, like, I mean, presumably if they go outside of this, they might, like, fall to the ground, which is dangerous. But this isn't a, like, they start flying and then they scatter all across Japan. They have to get picked up again. Like, there's a level to how dangerous this can get. If you want to go forward, just think to yourself, I'm going forward. You will. This explanation is so bad. So it is fundamentally just, if you think about going in a direction, you'll go in the direction. Oh, so chaotic. It's times like these that bring out a person's true nature. The cautious ones who try things slowly, a little at a time. Oh boy, we're getting names. The daring ones who dive right in and learn by doing. The laid-back ones who find a comfortable balance and drift there. The boys desperate for attention who start doing tricks where the girls can see them. The ones who've gotten used to it and decide to play Dragon Ball. I'm glad that the guy who keeps on talking about Bukujutsu has, like, the big Choji-esque, like, swirls. I'm very happy that he finally got to do it. And also, he's the only one with an aura. Like, he went into it going, I want to do Bukujutsu, and now he is fundamentally doing Bukujutsu. Like, he is playing Dragon Ball. The manga addict who secretly wants to play Dragon Ball too. The snooty hipster who's too good to join on the flying fun because he has better hobbies and let his imagination soar anyway. The antisocial contrarian who deliberately doesn't even change into his gym clothes. With them watching, the whole class decides to reenact Swimmy. What? This guy's even there. So even the guys who didn't want to do it did jump in order to do this. This class is wild. Also, I guess this is just a way to get the names out there. Same with last chapter. Like, the series had so many names, but so few characters with actual focus. But I think that works well enough. Like, in the same way that Ash class had, like, the entire class already listed out very, very early on. Or, like, Negima has the entire class listed in Chapter 1. I appreciate the knowledge that this class is a set scale, you know, not counting exchange students and whatnot. And all these people have been thought about to at least a tiny degree. Like, it allows for a series where, like, as the class gets more and more focused, you can go back and go, like, oh, right, those characters were doing exactly that back in the past. Like, even when we didn't know their names, look, you can look in the background and they're doing exactly that thing. Sir, Class 1-3 is flying. Okay, again, little more, like, not as much as I want, but a little more fleshing out of how people treat magic. Like, they just want to fly. And they're like, yeah, I heard there's a witch in Class 1-3, but it isn't a mind-breaking, like, this is impossible. No one likes Fruits Basket. To be fair, I think it's a really bad, like, icebreaker game. I feel like fundamentally, an icebreaker game that has you, like, it'd be like playing Werewolf, for instance. Where, like, if you have to take on a different identity, or, you know, you're using, like, a different word to mean you, or, like, you're splitting yourself up into different... I think splitting yourself up into different groups is okay, as long as, like, within those groups you are introducing yourself, and you're saying, like, hey, I am me, this is my thing, my favorite hobby is this. It makes me really excited to see what the wider world is. And at the same time, like, I'm really happy that we're not seeing all of that. Like, it's the kind of thing where I'm frustrated, but at the same time, I know for a fact, if I get what I want, I'm not going to really like it. I would go, like, I can't believe they're cramming so much of this exposition and all of this world building into the first few chapters. It's exhausting. Whereas this does hook me. Like, and that means the mangaka has way more chances to slowly dole out this information and slowly build up the world and make it more and more absurd, as opposed to, like, just going to 10 right from the start. There has to be a Zoom class out there that's done Among Us, right? There's no way there hasn't been. Doubt. I feel like she's definitely pushing herself a little too much, even if we can't see it. But at the same time, like, it is... We still have half the chapter, so there's plenty of time for something to go wrong. But I kind of hope it doesn't. I kind of hope that it is just everyone gets to have a fun magic experience. This is honestly so sweet. I mean, I definitely get it. And especially if, you know, his dad has been telling him he can't, you know, he has to hide himself. If he hasn't had the ability to share his gifts with everyone, I can definitely see how he would see it as more of a curse, or more of just a bad thing. I mean, that's also kind of the strength of being an absolute idiot. Like, I'm sure this isn't the first time that she has made someone else... I mean, she's, you know, we've seen her, like, flying with Moi. We've seen her flying with that random person that they saved that one time. Like, I'm sure she's fucked it up a whole bunch, but that also means that she's had, like, more time to try and, you know, practice this kind of thing. Whereas Moi, I imagine, barely uses his super strength for anyone else because he wants to hide it, and therefore he has less strength over it. Or less control. We know he has the martial arts, but even the martial arts seem to be something that he only does by himself in order to gain more focus over his natural strength. As opposed to, like, something where he can go to a, like, ogre, like, black belt championship or something and, practice and train with people and, be a part of a community. A truck, it's driving into the barrier. They probably should have put something else up here. Also, is the truck thinking it wants to go up? Because it responds to your thoughts, right? Or, I wonder if the field has a general, like, even if you don't really want to, it's going to move you a bit up, and then you have to, like, think to at least move yourself back down. Because that would make sense as a, like, training field. Like, the default is flying. Oh, okay, that is actually really cool. So classic, and it makes him look so cool. Like, it's not that crazy of a panel, but it has this immediate classic look to it. All right. I mean, and I think it is honestly good that Nico softened up the class with the, like, hey, I'm a witch, and also let's, I'm going to help all of you fly. Like, this is the perfect opportunity for him to come out and say he's an ogre. Like, they'd all be extreme hypocrites if they, proceed to dunk on him for this. And even then, like, no one in the class has been a bad person or, like, an asshole. So I have enough faith that they're probably going to be cool with this. And Nico went in to try and make an excuse. Again, that's honestly really cool. Like, that shows that she isn't just being passive. She was going to actively try and put that upon herself. Because she, they are childhood friends. She understands what he's like. Even if she does, like, intentionally push that a little bit because she wants to deepen the relationship, like, she still would fundamentally be there for him if he's in a situation that makes him uncomfortable. Okay, here we go. I'm an ogre. I may look human, but I'm not. I'm not normal. Oh, and everyone thinks it's cool. Now, this is also definitely, like, it's on another level, but if we do eventually get the moment where he turns into, like, a cow lion, I think that it would be pretty cool if the entire class got to see that. Like, if we had to do the, oh no, Moi turned into his, like, ancient form, and now we have to hide him in the classroom and take care of him like a class pet. Like, the amount of wackiness that can happen in the series is, like, it is dramatically expanding now that the entire class knows about both of them. They're just going with it. I'm also really happy that, like, they're all cool with it. At least one other class in the school is cool with magic. If we want to do, a situation where there are students who don't like magic, we can do that in the series. But I'm really glad it's not going to be a constant, like, in class it feels oppressive or there's a bully or something. Like, the environment being created by the mangaka is really cool. At the end of the day, with back-to-back surprise confessions, Class 1-3 discovered they had both a witch and an ogre. That is so cool. Could you ask Nico if she has a spell to switch my left and right eyes? I mean, this is a weird running gag, but I'm not against the... What would I call this? I guess just the gag of him constantly being, like, the only people trying to interact with him are all weirdos. Because honestly, Nico is the prime weirdo. She is the most weirdo of a human being. So I guess you could say from chapter 1 he has been the weirdo magnet. This chapter was so good, legitimately. I can't believe how good Witch Watch has been. And I do really appreciate the mangaka is leaning into, like, how do I put it? The art style still isn't anything special, but the things being depicted in the series are inherently pretty cool looking. I also really like the fact that, like, he's not doing the, like, in Astral Lost in Space, a lot of the fantastical nature of the series came from the wacky, like, planets that were being depicted. Whereas, like, we're not doing the big, like, hey, here's a magical animal, here's a magical plant. Most of the series has just taken place in completely mundane environments. And I like that vibe. It's a very, like, even, you walking down the street could meet Nico at some point, and she could fuck up and turn you 2D. Do I put this above Black Clover? Like, this was a good Black Clover chapter, but I feel like this was better. There is a level of delightfulness in this chapter that I haven't really, like, I don't know if there's anything in Jump right now that reliably gives me this feeling of delightfulness. Me and Roboco is too chaotic. It's always a good time, but what the tone of each chapter is tends to vary absolutely wildly. Roboco invents new forms of comedy on the fly, whereas Witch Watch feels way more comfy as a series. I'm down for that. Alright, that's enough comfiness. Let's get into the absolute banger portion of Jump, starting with... Ooh. Undead Unluck, number 54, Hope. Oh boy. Let me pull this out real quick. Or actually, I could just make it bigger. Bunny has no right to be this good. How... This is 2021. Cute, annoying characters are only supposed to be ironically funny. You can't just genuinely make a character like this that people like. I mean, there's a layer of, so annoying that it becomes not annoying there, but still, I cannot believe how much I like Bunny, genuinely, as a character. Yeah, you can't really tell. He definitely doesn't have the super duper obvious, completely whited out eyes that a lot of series use to portray someone who can't see. Not the greatest color page, though. These are two important characters, but yeah, of the many, many great color pages we've had, this one's not my favorites. Okay. So he talks through this, speaker thing here. Cool. He was our radio man. So this guy was the first member of Under. Or I guess, the first recruit of Under. Yeah, because if Billy's the founder, he would be the first member, but at the same time, I could see how, from his perspective, there was no Under until he, brought him on and was like, hey, you want to be part of a cool group? Just bringing that up means that we have to see the founding of Under at some point, right? Also, just the phrase mercenary days reminds me of Andy's mercenary friends, who we saw in, chapter 2, and then they all died. We've got a flashback to that part of Andy's life, right? I feel like we could do a real, side-by-side comparison of these two just on that. We could do a chapter or flashback or something where they're on opposite sides of a war without knowing or something. There's fertile soil there. I mean, we did, but at the same time, I think the book arc was a very intentional, this could be the perfect way to do all the backstory, but we're not going to. Victor constantly killing Fuko and skipping past all the time, I feel is a clear way of saying, we're not going to do Victor's backstory, we're not going to do any more of Andy's backstory, we have the captain, but that is it. That doesn't mean we won't do it again, it's just, I feel that was meant to be a subversion of the idea that we would just do all of it in one big chunk and get it all done. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it either, to be perfectly honest. But this makes sense. So, they can kill Winter whenever. Also, it's interesting that Winter seems to just still be in its, chrysalis stage. It doesn't, we don't know where exactly this is, so we don't know if it's even, making the snow or not. But I'm wondering what its point is. Is it actively trying to do something? Is it waiting for something to happen to it first? God, Juice is so smart. So obviously, because she's here, she's not going to hand over the Ark. So what's her goal? Will you join forces with us once more? Bold idea. The reward is absolutely essential to you and me, since all the artifacts gained as rewards are weapons crafted by God to defeat God. Okay, really? That's some interesting lore. Especially because we do know with Akira that presumably then, I mean, I guess who makes the rewards for or yeah, like all the artifacts gained as rewards are weapons crafted by gods to defeat God. So it has to be God saying like, all right, I will add this ability to an artifact in the world. And then simultaneously he was like, okay, I will honor that, but I will also like put it on this exact G-Pen and set up fates so that Akira will grab it, and then I will make him this exact negator in order to hide this this weapon that can kill me. Like it is this simultaneous, God is rigging it, but at the same time, he is giving humanity the tools needed to kill him. I feel like that has to mean that there's someone else involved. Like, why would a single entity do that? Like, why would a single entity go to all that trouble without either, being pressed by some other force to do it or to make it fair or to, like, I could see that. Like, it's just the mix of it that I find really wild. Because it is a sporting chance, but it also feels very much like there are rules that God cannot violate. And so the only way to get around, a negator just having the G-Pen and being part of the Union and just, immediately killing it somehow would be to, like, go through that rigmarole of, rigging Akira's entire life. Or I guess more like, ruining Akira's life with that one move. I simply assumed we've been battling with tools made by a super ancient civilization. That was my personal guess. My guess before this was all of the artifacts are from previous loops. And in the same way that, like, the meteors that Fuko summons down are parts of previous Earths, I assumed that those previous Earths may have, artifacts on them that are being seeded on the current Earth. So what is this extra secret lore? It's information I can only gather by writing Arc. However, I couldn't divulge it since I was keeping Arc's existence secrets. Arc is almost out of energy. It might be capable of one more trip back, but it's not guaranteed. The next time we fail, that's it. We lose for good. So that makes sense as this is the only loop in which Unluck has gotten here and has gotten this far, and the Union has understood that Unluck has the capability to kill God. Oh, yeah, Home, you're right. Because, like, Andy/Victor has been around this whole time. Like, he's been taking, presumably, the long way around every time the Earth gets destroyed. Whereas, like, up until this point, Juiz has been going back every time. And I could definitely see it being we can't trust that Juiz going back one more time could also, specifically seek out Fuko and save her, and then, make sure that she doesn't get killed by, just sheer coincidence at some point. And also, she can't make sure that Fuko will develop the connection to Andy that she needs to in order to fully, how do I put it? Like, her development here is completely unprecedented. And Juiz is important because she can put together the Union, and she knows how to put together all the people that she currently knows are the best possible fits. But Fuko is too new. I also think that, legitimately, Fuko going back... How do I put this? Andy having to take the long way around, and Fuko using Arc to, survive the destruction of the world and get into the next loop. I think that would also be a good way to have her meet up with Andy, way back before the start of, the point in which she joined up with the Union. Like, if she is the one who is going to found the Union, I think that's simultaneously a really cool way to give every member of the Union a really good arc. If she can, reach out to all of them and talk to them and, not necessarily fix all of their problems, but if she can intervene sooner. I think that'd be such a cool concept for a manga in general. Because it's not a isekai, but it is a very new game plus sort of situation. It is the, how do I do all of this using, maybe some notes that Juiz left behind, while still, having faith that I will make the right choices, and that we will put together the correct team. Because, that is the only way I could see, Rip and Billy both being on the Union side. If they go all the way around, and Fuko saves Rip's sister, or Rip's wife, and she does whatever Billy needs, both of them seem to be unbelievably important. Rip because, Akira, because Rip is Akira's favorite character, like fundamentally he has to be extremely important. And Billy, because he has whatever the hell he can do here, like his negator copy ability. Oh, you're right. That's a really cool concept. Like, it depends on how the arc works. Is it that the arc is intentionally only allowing one person to ride? Assuming it is only one person, to be fair. Or is it that is it that the arc needs to expend an amount of energy to presumably put everyone into stasis and to continue to exist in the universe as the Earth explodes? The next time we fail, that's it. We lose for good. Okay, so just straight up confirmation of the thing that people have been questioning for like the entire series, or since we've learned about the arc. So arc is a one-seater, and you're not lying. I could hand arc over to you, but that's also a really smart idea. Like, that's a really good point to make. Like, Billy is extremely capable, but Billy doesn't know how to put all the stuff together. That also does raise the question of, like, did God kill the previous unknown? Because if unknown is unknown to, the world, like, even to being affected by, touch and by, damage and by explosions and stuff, like, wouldn't unknown just be capable of standing around as the world's, as the Earth flies into the sun or as the Earth explodes? Ah. Why didn't you tell us any of this? Don't you think that if you hadn't tried to bear this burden alone, things could have turned out different? But I mean, I imagine, like, in any big loop series, you always have the loops that the audience never sees, where the character does try to get across to everyone else, and they don't believe them. Yeah, you're right. Akira does age because Akira became unknown when he was a child, and he is older now. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I guess it depends on how you take the concept of being unknown. But no matter how you stretch the concept of being unknown, I don't think you could get it to the point where like you are unknown by physical objects. Ah, it's also really cool to be getting this from her point of view. Like I believed Victor when he said that he's been trying to kill her because he loves her, but I'm curious to see like how did she take this? Like, does she know that, or does she just take it as I trusted in someone and then they tried to kill me and now I can't trust anyone because they had feelings for me? Okay, so she does know that. He said almost the same thing you are now, that I didn't need to bear this on my own any longer, that I should leave it to someone else and rest in peace. It seemed like he didn't want me to suffer for his own sake, but no, it wasn't for his sake, it was for mine. I simply wanted to see the person I loved smile. Aww. Okay. It's that radical honesty. So, like, presuming that she's not lying, or that she doesn't have, like, a secret, a backdoor Keikaku, which I don't think she does. Like, she is, even if she is unjust, she is extremely justice-oriented. I do feel like we're probably not going to see all of it, but I do fully believe that she is going to tell Billy everything. Your copy ability is more useful than my injustice, but this current loop is valuable. We have someone with the power to kill God who has lived long enough to meet us. Unluck. That girl is our hope. I also really like that because, like, we very much have this artifact. Like, we have the arc in the background as the series can keep on going even if all is lost. Like, we can still see what happens in the next loop. But that also doesn't feel mandatory. Before, it felt mandatory to me. It felt like well, obviously that's what the series is going to do. But it's perfectly possible that, with this renewed focus on how important Fuko is, and how important it is that she, do everything she possibly can right now, I could see the series ending without us doing the final loop because it is so uncertain as to whether the arc would really make it. Or, Enuma might just straight up destroy the arc at some point. Good point, Houmii. I'm not sure if that deserves to be in quotes, but that's a strong one. That's a strong line. Okay, doesn't look like he's quite on her side. Juiz, you've always been right, but that's not good enough. We can't join forces. I've determined that's the best way to kill God, and there's no changing my minds. Wait, oh, I thought that was move for a moment. No, that's not move, right? Also, what are these cubes? Oh, it's Spoil! He's back! Ah. Kaiju fight! Kaiju fights! Kaiju fights! Or, I mean, from these poses, they look a lot more like stands. Giant kaiju stands. I mean, I'm not against the alter timeline in which she has Spoil under her jackets, and then they have a conversation. Billy's like, yeah, you know what? I'm fine with this. And then she just leaves. And she just quietly has Spoil's head under her jacket this entire time. I mean, to be fair, I guess we don't know if she has ever not had Spoil under her jackets, like, since Spoil was captured. It's possible he's always been there. This was this wasn't a unbelievably illuminating chapter, but we learned some good things. Like, we know now that the arc legitimately is a one-person ride. Like, confirmed. Like, assuming we take everything Juiz says as fact, which I will. And there is the possibility, no matter how slim, there is the possibility of the Under and the Union working together. Yeah, like, this was all talking. It was all just like, hey, I know this is your stance. This is my stance. Let me talk out my stance. Okay, like, logically, you should be on my side. Will you? No? Okay, now let's fight. I feel like it would be bad. I guess it depends on how the big slab that counts how many Uma have been added works. Because if they bring back more cores, like, do they immediately start off with, like, 3 of those 100 countdowns, countdown cores to Ragnarok already filled in? I mean, to be fair, it also depends on, like, what worlds do you end up on when you ride in the arc? Like, if you are riding in the arc, do you start off in the world without rules? Like, the perfect platonic world in which there are no Uma. There are no rules that affect human beings. Like, there are no limits, and then they slowly get added on. Or do you get deposited when there's, like, 50 rules already added on? Oh, you raise a good point, actually, yeah. Like, from the previous fight, I do think, like, it doesn't seem to be he has the abilities while he's in a certain range of someone, because he did, like, move away from the other members of the Union while still using their abilities. Like, he was using Top speed when Top was nowhere near him. So I'm really curious to see how this copy ability works. And, like, we still don't have a concrete answer for why Fuko remembered the stars. Like, that's a super old one, but I do want to bring it up. She did know she didn't know exactly what they were, but she did, like, imagine the sky with stars there, even though she had not existed at a point where that rule existed. Plus, it feels like, when we first saw, like, chronologically, like, the earliest Victor and Juiz that we ever saw had a Juiz that looked very, like, she didn't have any secondary sexual characteristics. And at the time, I thought that might be because she came from a loop that was, like, pre-sex. But now I'm guessing that it was probably more of a age thing. Like, she was probably just, very young when that happens. Because there is an inherent disadvantage of someone like Fuko using Arc to go back if, like, she can only go back to a point, if she can only go back to a relatively developed part. Like, when she joined the Union, there were, like, I think it was, like, 3 failed missions away from the end of the world. That'd be a really shitty, like, go back moment. That would suck. That also brings up the question of, like, well, if Juiz is not going back, then no one's going to found the Union, which means that, like, does that mean that Uma have just consistently been added to the world over and over and over again all this time? It can't be, though, because I'm pretty sure the slab only activates because Yeah, I'm pretty sure that either Apocalypse or Jui said that it only counts like Uma that are added, due to the Union, like due to failing quests. Yeah, it's our thing. She might be immortal. Because I definitely think she looked younger when she was interacting with, Victor during that, one tiny little panel we saw. Well, it wasn't that tiny. It was like part of a 2-page spread, but still. Like, this is not the amount of aging you'd go through if you've been living multiple hundreds of years. Oh, so many questions. And I do have faith we'll get answers for, all the important ones. But my brain is out of speculation juice. Undead Unluck is a spicy top right now. Such fantastic dialogue. Oh, I want to see spicy top. The thing I really want that I know for a fact, like not for a fact, but I'm 99% sure there's no way the series is going to do it, but I keep on bringing it up. I really like the idea of of whether it is Fuko or someone else going back to a no-rule society. Like, none of the Uma exist, none of the rules have been imposed. Because I just want to see what that's like in the mangaka's minds. Like, are all people just, like, floating around on the planets, but they're, completely untethered by all rules, and they can teleport wherever they want, and they don't have to eat or drink or anything? Oh, that'd be a good one, actually. Like, I could see it being depending on how many rules have been applied to you, there are certain rules that need to be added to the world before you can live on it. Like, if you have a physical sex and a, gender identity, you don't have to live in a world where physical sex and gender identity exists. But if you breathe oxygen, you do need to live in a world where oxygen that is breathable exists. Because the Uma are fundamentally all, human-based. Like, in a world without Uma oxygen or Uma breathing, you just wouldn't have, breathable air because no one would need it. But then you would suffocate if you do need it. I think that would also be a really cool, if the arc has a readout of all the rules being added, and Fuko's thing has to be, okay, I need to make sure that these rules are all added before I step out, but I can't control what rules are added at what time, and oh no, Uma racism showed up! Is it okay that I, allowed, what would I do? Because she wouldn't have to wait for, language to be added, because she has existed and is currently existing in a post-language society. So she wouldn't need that to ever exist. But she would need, Uma drinking water and Uma eating food to be around. Oh, there's so many possibilities. Alright, so that is Undead Unluck. The danger of the Undead Unluck segment is also always talking about Undead Unluck as a series, as a setting, could be eternal. We could just talk about it forever. Oh, you're right. If there's no Uma time, or if there's no time rule, then you fundamentally would just be waiting forever, but also not be waiting forever. I guess it depends on how God wants to handle that. Like, God could do the sneaky, okay, time doesn't exist, so I'm going to just slip 50 rules in. You can't argue with me. It was an existence without time. Now time has been added. Oops, all rules. Anyways, yeah, gotta move on. I've said everything. We're moving on to Dr. Stone, chapter 188, What I Once Sought to Destroy. That worked out a lot better than I thought it would. So, What I Once Sought to Destroy. That could be Matsuzaki talking about the big stoning blast. Oh boy, it's time. I'm not gonna. I don't want to respond, Houmii, but from you saying that, we're gonna get some peak lines going around that I can't follow. I just know it. What I once sought to destroy. Like, the only person I can think of is Matsuzaki. Like, he's looking at the blast of the light and he's like, oh, this is what I once sought to destroy, but now it is my salvation. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else who would say that specifically in this moment. But then again, is now the time to be setting off the blast? I could definitely see a situation in which, Like, I could see them doing it really fast in this chapter, and then we could do a flashback chapter where we see Chrome, like, setting up his anti-stoning spray thing. Like, that'd be a good way to keep the pace moving while at the same time, like, giving us the quick thing of, like, what? Did they really all just stone themselves without a backup plan? What happens? This spear technique is impossible to fight against with a mere gun. With your stupid cylinder that uses gunpowder that shoots projectiles in a straight line. This man's expression is so strong. This is a trained soldier who has spent his life, fighting with modern military stuff, and he's lived through the Stone Era. He's, like, they've gone all the way back up to guns. Now he's being beaten by inexplicable spear movements. My back feels warm. Revealing one's back to the enemy, even for an instant, means death. So normally, during battle, my back would remain cold, even to the point of freezing. But now, for the first time ever, here in my final battle, things are different. I really do like the shots. Like, she's not, obscenely chiseled or anything. But at the same time, she's not, like, ridiculously smooth. Like, there's a sense of vulnerability here that I find really strong. Like, it is she does look like she would be cold. She is allowing herself to be open. It is so fundamentally against the vibe of a battlefield like this. Yeah. Like, I know Boichi. I'm certain that if he wanted to, he could have... Inagaki could have written these lines, and Boichi could have gone, all right, I'm gonna show you the booty, I'm gonna show you the boobs, I'm gonna break her back to make this one work out. But yeah, why is she calling it her final battle? Is she planning to die here? Or does she just mean it as a, I'm going to retire? Does she mean... I have a wife and kids. I've got 3 days left until retirement when I can go hang out with Suika forever. I've got my badge right here. It's all polished up. I sure hope no blood gets on it. What is this facial expression? This is one hell of a battle tactic. This is what I call women's MMA. I also question the validity of the counter to, I'm going to smash you with an entire tree, being, I'm going to stick my sword into the tree. Because he's kind of disabled his weapon. I mean, granted, it's the situation. Maybe he was not in a, situation where he could feasibly save Kohaku and, swoop out of the way. But whatever. It feels a little unorthodox. Oh, that's Tsukasa, history's strongest primate high schooler, the MMA champ from Japan. I see, it is the ultimate MMA battle. I mean, I'm so happy that she is known internationally as history's strongest primate high schooler. I still don't understand what that means. I get the vibe of it. I get the, he has this primal energy. He feels like he has gorilla-esque strength and stamina. This can't be a normal human man. But every time I look at the title, it doesn't have that clear, edge of oh, he's Shiryu of the Rain. It's so... I could 100%, especially since Boichi is a pretty nice dude, I could 100% see a chapter of me and Roboco where Tsukasa shows up and he is drawn by Boichi in every single frame. And the joke is just yeah, this is my cousin Tsukasa, history's strongest primate high schooler. See, I didn't understand Dio when he punched a road roller over and over and over again. And I also don't fully understand the validity of, I've pushed a tree on you, and now I will punch the tree further into you. It feels like you're wasting a lot of energy with that one. I'll give you credits. No one has ever pushed me this hard in battle. Are we gonna get his Bankai? The Tsukasa Bankai, punching a woman. I mean, yeah, he did punch an adult lion through the air. You're right. He is absurdly strong. And I do appreciate that Like, Maya is an absolute beast. So this isn't a, like, there, like, the power differential isn't that big. Like, it is still a scary moment for him. But the fact that he's able to take her out so quickly and so powerfully is just, like, proof of his absolute strength. Oh boy, that is such a hard cut from this, like, absolute conquest of, yes, she was she was my match, but I managed to beat her, to, okay, I guess I'm dying. Ah. I mean, Tsukasa's bane has always been gunpowder. Whether it was a giant pot filled with gunpowder, or whether it is being shot by a marine with a gun. Oh, is the title Tsukasa what I once sought to destroy? Like, is this his moment of, I've been killed with a gun of science. This is the very thing I wanted to destroy. But now, and he stomps his foot into the ground, I fight with science, and he pulls out a gun. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a good prediction. I don't know if that's what Tsukasa's like. That is how I imagine Tight Kubo would write the scene. Like, I'd be fine with leaving it as just a, he was right. Like, he's thinking back to this moment. He's like, I said it. I was right all along. I was fighting against capitalism and guns, and now I die because of capitalism and guns. That said, like, the plan of stoning everyone makes even more sense now, as a, like, he's dying, he's dying. Like, there's a lot of people who are going to be shot with guns who should really be frozen in stone. Yeah, like, I still feel very sus about Hyoga. Like, even with this, I'm still concerned, but I'm less concerned than I used to be. And this does make me scared for her dialogue again. I'm not sure why she had the feeling of, like, this is my final battle, but this is the big, like, everyone around her is being shot with guns and dying. I feel like it would be very appropriate if she gets shot and, she is on the brink of death. The absolute fear and grief on her face is really strong. Like, the bags under her eyes. It looks like she is aging in the moment, like, as she is fighting. Really, Kohaku? Why are you standing around gawking at me when you have a job to do? And she did get it, so... Oh, look at this Kenpachi face. This is such a good reaction. He looks like he's reacting to Kohaku, like, flipping up his skirts, and, like, we're getting a panty shots. Okay, turning the page. Let me see Kohaku dying violently. So Hyoga has met his ends. Kohaku and I don't have long either. That is a good point, actually. Like, they were trying to do, like, bargain bin cryogenics with Tsukasa. So, I wonder if there is a level of, like, I imagine they can't, like, heal a rotting corpse, like, over and over again until it's back to normal, but maybe if it's a fresh body, they can bring it back. And yeah, like, I think it may have been a bit much. Like, Tsukasa and Hyoga were villains at one point, so seeing them this bloody and destroyed, and, like, they're not, like, explicitly gorily, gantzly destroyed. Like, I didn't want to see that in the first place. But it hurts less to see them, this hurts. Whereas, like, Kohaku, I think, might be a real big gut punch, especially for a situation like this, where we as the audience know that you can stone someone and unstone them, and they'll come back. So I feel like it might be too dangerous of a card to play to have Kohaku, like, have a violent end when we know that's not going to stick. Whereas, like, in the future, if the writers want to either tease Kohaku really dying or actually kill her off, I feel like it would hurt them if they had multiple scenes of him dying. Or, sorry, of her dying. What I once sought to destroy has become a shining star of hope. And I think that's actually a lot better. Like, it is him thinking about science and the fact that he can be brought back as being the thing he once sought to destroy. This is such a... this is a background for sure. Absolutely gorgeous. I leave the rest to you, Senku. And they're building something. Like the fact that a bunch of people are building. I'm really. I hope this isn't a Senku invention. I really hope we're not going to do the, hey Chrome, good idea. I, Senku, am going to make the automatic unstoning machine. Like, all I want is for this to be Chrome's idea that they are enacting. I don't want this to be yet another Chrome has an idea and then Senku goes, yes, my great idea. And like they're on the outskirts. So the question is also like, will this blast be big enough to even stone them? We could have the ultimate tragedy of they see the light and the light doesn't quite get to them and then they die. It's not going to happen, but the possibility is there. Yeah, I 100% believe they're going to be stoned. Like the fact that that Kohaku's with them makes me feel absolutely certain. Hyoga might really die. I think, like, because Tsukasa specifically pointed out, like, Hyoga's gone and now Kohaku and I are dying, I could see that being the, like, if you stone someone within, like, a few seconds or, like, a minute of them dying, and then you unstone them, they'll come back. But if they've been there for, like, several minutes even, that's too long. I think that'd be a really cool way of setting down hard limits. And then also creating this big, like, this thing that they could be sad about. That they really survived and that Hyoga, didn't. And that there's no real reason why he died, faster than they did. Like, there's no moral reason to it. It is just that's the way the fight happened to play out. I could honestly see that as well. Because that would be an alternate way to, like, to justify not seeing Kohaku die here. If it is a Kohaku died just outside of the blast radius. And when we see her corpse, it is actually her corpse. And then they, try to stone her and they can't because she's been dead for too long. Like, I really, really, really love her as a character. But at the same time, like, in terms of storytelling, I wouldn't be against her dying. Like, I think that would raise the stakes, and that would feel like a legitimate, like, actual loss in the series. But fingers crossed, hoping it doesn't happen. It'd be the ultimate way to stick it to the editor and say, listen, this is, Senku could have been related to his dad. I wasn't going for the incest end at all. I suppose you could say that the mark of being a truly capable gal is when you don't get shot with guns. Yeah. Also, if Kohaku's past actions have been trying to, like, in this arc, like, if we've been building up to her death, it feels a little weird. Like, I'm not sure, because the main things we've had are just, she helped with her extreme strength. Like, she has been more versatile than in previous arcs because we made use of both her sight and her strength. And also, she seems to romantically love Suika, which is a weird thing to add in. But yeah, I feel more like actual stakes and conflict than I have for a little bit. Yeah, like I wouldn't want this to be a Walking Dead-esque, like anyone can die thing. Like that's not the series Dr. Stone has been. And it would feel really weird if that is what they went for with this. If it was a, like, this death is to remind us that we can all die. But yeah, I'm going to leave it on, like, my genuine, serious guess, no long shots, is Kohaku and Tsukasa both, like, all three of them do die. But Kohaku and, Tsukasa both do get revived, and Hyoga doesn't. Whether it is because he's out of the blast radius or because he was dead for a little too long. Like, I think this is a strong moment to, like, establish some more rules. And Hyoga is someone where, like, he's had a smaller, more subtle arc over this arc, but it has been one where, like, it's still hard to fully trust in him, but he has only done good things for everyone. And we could leave it at, we never fully understood his true intentions, but he was a good person and he did right by us, and we're not going to besmirch his name. Like, he really died saving Kohaku, and we are going to respect that. Like, we're going to give him a proper grave, and we might, like, name the city after him or something. Oh, in this world, statues are going to have a weird connotation. Like, in our world, there's enough, like, political motivation when it comes to a lot of statues of dead people, of the, like, should we have this person around? Should we not? If we had the power to turn real, like, freshly dead bodies into statues, but we couldn't, like, properly revive them, it would add this extra layer of, like, do we take down these Confederate statues? Like, how do I put this? We should take down the Confederate statues even more, because they are not just symbols of racists, they are actually the racists. But at the same time, you'd have the counter of, well, now if you take down the statue, you're desecrating a corpse. Like, you could get into some real tangles there. Mark my words, I have said this for a long, long, long time. I still believe in it. If someone is turned to stone, they cannot be destroyed unless they are hurt by either another stone statue, like another person who has been turned to stone, or a physical human being. There's no other reason that I can think of that would allow for all these human statues to have survived 3,000 years, while everything, like all the other like cornerstones of civilization, all the the buildings and like everything else except for like that Buddha and Kamakura, like that survived, but almost everything else man-made has been annihilated. There's no way for something like that to happen while all these human statues are still around, unless human statues who have been turned to stone have some level of resilience to the elements. I do really like the idea of someone going to DC and trying to unpetrify the giant Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so that is Dr. Stone. Holy crap. Does this go above Undead Unluck? I feel like it actually might. Like, Undead Unluck was a really strong lore chapter, but, like, there's so many questions here, and this feels like an actual potential death chapter. And we have, like, after all this time, I feel like we have been neglecting Tsukasa, and I'm glad that we have this moment of this, Tsukasa bleeding out and dying on the battlefield and thinking about his past and going, my only hope is science, and I've completely turned around. And even though weapons of science have killed me, I still fully believe in the hope, the shining light of science over the, darkness of adults with guns literally killing me and my friends. Yeah, it has to be number one right now. Undead Unluck has been dethroned. It feels like I don't know if we've had a Weekly Shonen Jump in 2021 where I have not said Undead Unluck was number one, but at least we're doing it this week. This was such a good chapter of Dr. Stone. It's been so long since I've, like, fully 100% been in love with a chapter of Dr. Stone. If the Jesus statue is completely gone, like, completely gone, but it's normal human-sized human beings that are supposedly turned to stone are still around, like, it has to be a thing. If we see the Jesus statue and it's just like been very worn down by the elements but still there, I will accept that as being a crack in my theory. Interesting theory. Interesting. If the final boss of Dr. Stone was giant Brazilian Jesus, you know what, I'd question Inagaki. I'd say, like, I don't know if you're a good writer. This seems like it's kind of coming out of nowhere. He's Y-Man, like the shape of Jesus on the cross, the Y. I could see Boichi drawing it. I could see Inagaki writing it and Boichi drawing it. I would just be very confused about it. Okay, we've gotten into... It's Monday. We gotta stop talking about Jesus. No, there's only so much sacrilege I can allow on my Weekly Shonen Jump reactions. We gotta move on. This ain't a JoJo's reaction. My Hero Academia, chapter 304. Ooh, let me look at this recap. Oh, this is a strong one. Okay, so let us see whether they're playing Twister or not. It's a very real possibility. Okay. Fingers crossed, hoping for the big ol' gonna fight all the vestiges arc. Number 304, Izuku Midoriya and Toshinori Yagi. Woof. That's actually a really strong chapter title. And yeah, like, I'm really glad that Deku didn't just do the classic, Kachan, are you there? Like, he's thinking about so many people. He brought up Rocklock. Okay, so 2 people are looking away. Presumably, like, 2 of the quirks that he hasn't yet, like, fully unlocked. So we have... wait. So we have, sorry, I don't remember their names, but we have, for sure, he's where Black Whip comes from. He might be Danger Sense. Obviously, that is the, like, the vestige of Toshinori. That is the first wielder. That is... I actually know her name, but I can't think of it right now. You know, Float / Shigaraki's grandma. And then we have... No, I think this guy is Danger Sense. But then who is this? They're arranged in order on the side. Okay. Okay, so second and third are still looking away. Yeah, he's Danger Sense because he's got the big lightning stripe. Spare timing. Okay, so we don't know any, or we may have like heard about him, but I personally don't remember who he is. If we have any info on him. Interesting that it's not the 3 of them looking away then. Like, perhaps this is the, like, you know, you're right on the cusp of unlocking my quirk, so I'm here and I want to talk. Or it could be a personality thing. It could be a, like, these 2 are much harder to convince. Like, emotionally speaking, they're not in touch with Deku. Whereas he's, like, of a similar vibe to him. He fully would be okay with Deku using his quirk. It's just that Deku hasn't managed to tap into it. Nana Shimura. Yeah, thank you, Houmii. Okay, so they were just like, okay, cool. And it's interesting that they do have seats over here. It's just, you know, they're not using them. Before, we could only interact with you by weaving through the interstices of your flickering consciousness, but the limitation no longer exists. Okay. Oh, so they can communicate with each other. So this isn't just a mindscape like we are each individual parts of your physical quirk factor talking to you. It is like they can now communicate with each other. All right. For some reason, there's so many series that have done like, you know, here's a council of people in your minds. And this doesn't even look like it, but I keep on thinking about Bakarina from, you know, the villainous isekai. Oh, he can talk! Deku's finally using mouth style. But okay, what's new? Have they all been like, hey, we finally consulted with each other, and we have some weird... We've noticed that the same thing keeps on happening in our lives. We should probably tell you about this one. You're about to be attacked by an assassin. Okay. Yeah, so he is Danger Sense. I get the sense that it would have been better for you to discover Danger Sense in a better setting. Is that a joke? Is that well said? Like, Danger Sense seems like the kind of ability that there's not really a bad time to ever, like, activate it. Like, it's a little shocking, sure, but compared to something like Black Whip, where there are plenty of situations where you wouldn't want to, like, Black Whip everyone around you, Danger Sense seems relatively benign. It, you know, it might mess you up if you're, like, doing a speech or something, but still. Okay. Yeah, so even, you know, when the 4th was around, like, it was still an age of, you know, quirk user suppression and prejudice. Do you happen to know how long I lived and what killed me? So, he died at 40. I died of old age. Oh, boy. Are we gonna do a, if you have all for one, your time is limited? Banjo and I had no way of knowing my cause of death until Yaki told us after some research. Okay, I'll get straight to the point. As of now, one for all cannot be wielded by an ordinary person. Oh, I sure hope we're not going for a, like, Deku has 5 years to live situation. I possessed one for all for the second longest, second only after Yagi. For 18 long years, I evaded... Wait, how long did All Might have all for one? Because we know, like, basically as soon as he got out of high school, he had to have, you know, gotten all for one. Like, we've seen young All Might. I'm not sure, like, we saw it in the prelude to the first movie. Like, the prelude is canon, the movie itself is non-canon. And yeah, he was like 18-ish when he went to America, like right after getting All for One. And I imagine All Might's like 40-ish, like himself, but he might be a bit older. Like I think that would also make sense here. Actually, is that why All Might looks so desiccated now? Like, we know it is because, he suffered that big wound in his fight with All for One. Like, that is the reason why he, can only bulk up for small amounts of time. And why he looks so sickly right now. But I wonder if it is also if he has the body of someone who is like 90 or 100. Like, if All for One was destroying him, but at the same time he was able to use All for One to supplement his, his dying body. And the fight with All for One was what... Yeah, sorry. He was using One for All to supplement his body, and then the fight with All for One was what, shifted the balance. Also, respectable enough, to know that he has this power, and he can't actually use it to win. So he's just going to spend his entire life just training to build up power so that in the future Deku can do a really cool kick. In my final years, these cracks appeared on my body, so that's not his danger sense. I kind of assumed that was just supposed to be, like a lightning bolt to signify the lightning bolts that's over him when he uses danger sense. I say I died of old age because possessing multiple quirks effectively ate away at my very life. So shit, okay, I guess Deku's gonna die. Okay, give me that lore. When Yaki realized that possessing One for All places a terrible burden on the body, he thought the same thing. The others never held it for long, and since they died in battle, Yaki's only other comparison was himself, which is why he thought about what Shimori had that he lacked. Oh, All Might was quirkless. We get to see, UA, UA All Might, UA Toshinori. Oh my gosh. That's also a cool idea. Deku was more empty as a vessel. Because there wasn't something already there taking up space, it was able to grow more into him. It is more so his quirk than, if Bakugo were to have All for One. He would have two fully realized, fully, large quirk factors inside the same body. Oh, and I guess maybe that's why he also has, just a shade here, as opposed to... I thought before it was because he didn't, actually add a quirk to All for One. Only he imbued One for All with a true piece of his consciousness. A vessel with an existing quirk of its own cannot receive one after... Okay, makes sense. It is the eternal struggle in which, when I listen to someone talking about My Hero Academia, I get really annoyed when I hear someone misspeak All for One or One for All, but I do it constantly. That's also a really cool way of putting it. One for All is his quirk. It wasn't his quirk originally, but because he grew into it, and because the quirk itself grew into him, it is fundamentally his quirk now. And in the same way, Deku can make it his quirk. I think that's also, legitimately a good way to explain, his big muscle form. We've always had the manga explanation of when you put more energy into the body, it gets bigger. But I like the idea of it being that, the sheer amount of strength, changed his body. By virtue of having this thing inside of him, his body grew to accommodate it. And now that it's not there, he does, deflates. Because now, he doesn't have that thing inside of him bulking him back up. By some twist of fate, this power that must pass from one to the next wound up being meant for those who lacked power to start with. They are the ones who can draw out its true value. Also, crucially, not that crucially, but kind of crucially, because, Toshinori had to have it for all that time, and he had to, imbue it with himself. This also means that this doesn't contradict the second movie. It's very possible that Bakugo had All for One for a little bit. But he just didn't leave anything behind in it. I'm not saying it's canon, I'm just saying the possibility exists. I want to believe. Right. Even if, Deku's generation does, contain people who have quirks, with the advent of the quirk singularity, there's going to be vanishingly fewer and fewer people who are quirkless, or who are, naturally quirkless. I definitely feel like he's going to find someone. He is going to pass it on. But this also means that the big theory that Deku will pass it on to Shigaraki at some point, like if it happens, it has to be a very temporary thing. There's no way that Shigaraki is going to legitimately be the the wielder of All for One, or sorry, of One for All, because it like fundamentally it would kill him even faster than he's already dying. Like even if his vessel is extremely strong now. You raise a good point. Like even if he has a quirk that is designed to steal other quirks, like the fact that he only feels like little vestiges, like the tiniest vestiges of the people within each quirk factor, means that he's not like prepared to accept fully actualized vestiges, like thinking, feeling quirk factors that can all communicate with each other. Like in addition to it, making him explode, I could see Deku like passing One for All to All for One, and then having like the predecessors within All for One. Sorry, like the predecessors within One for All, like agitating the spirits within All for One, and like causing all of them to revolt. Like there's so much that is potentially there. Like in the same way that Nomu have artificially multiple quirks, and we can kind of assume that whatever process the Doctor is using is also like, sedating and like preventing what vestiges may exist in there from properly doing anything. Like, can you? Is it possible then to like revive one or more of the quirk factors within a high end and like have it take over that body? You might be the last wielder of One for All. Like, this feels very in concert with the chapter of Undead Unluck I just read. Like, they both have this fundamental push of, even though there is a mechanic that could allow for things to continue on should this person lose or this person die, you might be the last one, or this might be the last time. Like it raises the stakes, it makes it more important. It means that Deku can't just say, all right, so this is it, I'm just gonna look at Mineta real quick and say, hey Mineta, here's my fingernail, eat it real quick, you're the next One for All wielder. Like Deku may have to create the future he wants now, like within not just his lifetime, but like within the next little bits. One for Ball, or what sounds better? One for Ball or one for balls? Now, Izuku, tell me, can you kill Tomura Shigaraki? Here's the big one. Because we know, like, she might not want to. We know for a fact Toshinori cannot kill Tomura. But what about Deku? Like, Deku doesn't have the clear connection. He doesn't have the, like, you were my teacher and, this is my teacher's grandson. That's not there. But fundamentally, Deku doesn't want to kill people. Balls for One is pretty strong. Can you kill Tomura Shigaraki? If I had to guess, I think he's going to say no, but he will say, like, I'm going to try and harden my heart, or, like, if at all possible, I want to save him. Even if that doesn't seem right, and I'm going to try and find an answer, and it'll be, like, the vestiges will just tell him, like, you're gonna have to think seriously about this. Like, it's your power, this is your quirk now. We are the dead. We cannot, puppet you. We are not going to be like the vestige of All for One, who is, like straight up puppeting Shigaraki. Yeah, like he's got to kill two of them now. And killing All for One, I think, is less morally harmful. Like, I do think in a fight, if Deku really needed to, I think there's enough, like, outrage and anger and, like, frustration at All for One being kind of the concept of evil itself in this world, that I think he could kill him without, worrying. But he's seen Shigaraki. He has fought Shigaraki one-on-one and looked at his face and said, you look like someone who was screaming for help. I don't think he can kill Shigaraki. That's a point I didn't really consider. Like, that they might be more into, like, they might want to not. I'm actually really curious to see if the second knew the first slash all for one. Because I could, like, in the same way that a lot of this has been very cyclical, I could see that being a situation of, the second had the potential to kill All for One back when he was markedly much weaker than he is now. But because they were friends, or because they were partners, or because he, even if the first wanted to kill his own brother, the second knew him, in a different way and couldn't bring himself to do so. Like, I think they have to be important. I started this chapter thinking that maybe they were just, like, fundamentally going to be the hardest ones to convince. But I could also see them being the, like, emotional holdouts in some way. Yeah, like, especially if they gave their own quirks over. They could be, essentially like Nomu, in a way. Like, they may have, received their quirks. I mean, we know for a fact they received their quirks during, like, part of the height, if not the height, of anti-quirk prejudice. So I could see them having really, really bad times. Like, my ideal would be meeting the second, learning why the second doesn't want to play ball, and then meeting the third who hates the second. As a, like, he's going to be the hardest one to flip. What a good chapter. I'm really happy we're not doing the, Deku's gonna die in 4 years thing. I was a little worried. I mean, he might still have a shortened lifespan. Like, I'm still gonna personally go with the theory of the reason why All Might / Toshinori looks as bad as he does right now is because even with his body having accepted All for One, or One for All, like, even with his body being the perfect vessel for it, it may have still been burning through his life. Like, now that he doesn't have it, he might be much worse off than he would have been had he never accepted it in the first place. Because I think that's also... I'm glad I'm the editor of this, and also that I'm a bad editor, because if I had my own personal editor, they probably would put up a counter for how many times I got it wrong, and then I wouldn't be able to watch this. It would be too dangerous. Okay. Despite my absolute lack of care for the terminology within the series, I do like it. I did like this chapter. It was really strong. It wasn't the Dr. Stone. Oh, does it beat Undead Unluck? Do we have 2 chapters this week that were better than Undead Unluck this week? Because we got some big drops, to be fair. Like, this was real big. This was a roller coaster, and it feels like we're gonna be in here for a while. I could train myself to say Ofa and Afo. You know what? I'll stick it right there. Dr. Stone was a little bit better, but I feel like they're basically on the same level, and then Undead Unluck is right below there. Okay, one more series, then Houmie's rankings, then author comments. Boop. Me and Roboco, chapter 32. Who talks to that anymore? I mean, best friends, really? Is Gorilla feeling a little bit soft right now? Like, this is their classic, acting like jerks, but they're not really jerks. But, I really want Roboco to get an anime so it can get a dub, because I imagine the dub is going to be really strong. Like, Roboco is the kind of series where characters keep on talking about tendies and cringe, and it never feels forced. Like, it never feels like a bad translation. Every time, like, slang comes up in Me and Roboco, it feels perfectly justified. Okay, what is this chapter? Is this chapter going to just be Gorilla and Matsuo? Like, is that what it's going to be called? Wait, isn't he my best friend? Chapter 32, Matsuo and Gorilla! I really thought he was my best friend! I really thought this was, like... these absolute dumbasses. I can't believe this! I thought this was going to be a, Matsuo understands that he's ribbing Gorilla, but then Gorilla takes it the wrong way. But no... they both somehow took this the wrong way. Knowing Gorilla, I thought he'd say, "What are you talking about, Ook? We're best friends too, aren't we?" Or something like that. Knowing Matsuo, I thought he'd say, "When I hear the words best friends, I think of us." Or something like that, Ook. This cannot be the disintegration of their friendship. They can't lose their friendship over something this stupid. They're too painful. I mean, I do appreciate that this is the energy of, like, not every yaoi series. Every, like, yaoi series that doesn't go into extremely uncomfortable non-con territory. The ones that are actually trying to be good, I find, still rely on the, like, you like me, but there's no way he's actually gay. He doesn't like me, does he? There's no way. It feels very cathartic to see a manga take the piss out of that. I didn't know best friends was such a heavy term, but now I can't just come out and say, hey, we're best friends, right? You know what? You're right. This feels very early Kaguya. Like, current Kaguya, I'd say, is a little less mind-gamey. But this is the absolute prime overthinking everything in the worst possible way, in such a perfectly designed way, so that even though both of them want the exact same ending, they cannot get to it because they're both too resilient. It's not that they're dumb, it's that they're too bullheaded. I want to say it, I want to hear it, I want to tell him he's my best friend just like those guys did. But you know, we definitely get along at least as well as those guys do, right? Come on, you can connect the dots, you can make it work. In other words, that makes us... He's trying to get me to say it. Come on, gorilla, say it. In this moment, Matsuo was at his limits. Please say we're best friends, they can say it right back. Because he couldn't very well. This is the ultimate Kaguya bullshit. I love it. Whoever says we're best friends first loses. Oh no, gorilla, what are you doing? After talking the way I did, there's no way I can say it now. This is... I mean, I'm really happy that Gorilla and Matsuo are, like, they're in grade school, and they can completely encapsulate the feelings I have, you know, like, me thinking about myself in high school, or me thinking about myself, you know, retrospectively in, you know, grade school or whatever. Like, they're dealing with all of that right now while they're still in grade school. They don't need retrospect. Gorilla is having a flashback to saying, yeah, kind of cringe, huh? That's the kind of thing I do now. These two! After talking the way I did, how can I possibly call us best friends with a straight face? But you're trying to make me say it! Neither of them could come out and claim to be best friends anymore, despite both wanting to. Trapped between conflicting emotions, the two had reached a position that was difficult for them to extricate themselves from. And of course, so I guess he's the Chica of the series, or of this chapter. It's weird to say this series, because this is not the actual build of the series, but it already feels like an entire status quo. I mean, if anyone would be the Chica, though, it would have to be Roboco. Like, the power of Chica comes from her absolute insane, like, inhuman capability to say the wrong thing in the wrong scenario, or to have the wrong idea in the wrong scenario. Like, she is the ultimate boomerang monkey wrench. And that is what Roboco is. But Bondo is... Like, Bondo's a little wacky, but he's not that wacky. This isn't enough, though. This isn't best friend material. This is side character gag manga friendship. This is some real Kaguya bullshit. Like, they've completely dropped the... They fully understand what is going on now. Like, now it isn't just a, I want him to say it because it'd be kind of cringe if I said it. Now they've gone all the way to, I'm just trying to do word games to make you say something close to friend. Okay. This is, I have seen you. Okay. I have seen you. And we are... So he's... so it's just the Shinyu thing, but from English. Like, from the English side. This is so dumb. I cannot believe this. Because it also highlights how similar they are. Like, this is fundamentally the same joke twice, which I don't think is good comedy. But it is. It's so relentless. And so they are hammering home just the Shin-Yu part of it. Like, they're just trying to get the other one to say the word. It's not, they've gone from, I want you to acknowledge me as your best friends, to, I just want you to say it so I don't feel cringe, to now, just say the word Shin-Yu. Just say best friends. They love each other so much. Like, they have nothing but admiration for each other. I think that's also what makes this, like, it gives it a different flavor than Kaguya. Kaguya does have an air of, like, oh, I can't believe he beat my mind games with her mind games and vice versa. But, like, this does have the Matsuo gorilla vibe of, I can't believe how good this other person is at doing this, even though I don't want to say it. Like, even if I can't say that he's my best friend, he's still completely incredible. So, what is the payoff here, Bondo? I mean, I guess that's also it. Like, if they won't say anything, I don't know if Bondo's the kind of person who could intuit what the problem is. Come on, Matsuo, spit it out, you stylish freaking charmer. What about you? What you first, gorilla, you man among men? This is the most bloodthirsty flirting I have ever seen. Okay, Bondo said it. But I mean, this is what they wanted. Like, they can't push it any further than this. Like, Gorilla's whole thing was, it's cringe if you call yourself someone's best friend, but if someone says, hey, you two are best friends, then it's fine. So I think this is just, like, the relief coming out, as they're like, oh, we can finally say it. Ah! Okay, they did actually say it at the same time. This is Matsuo and Gorilla's victory. And even with this being, their chapter, they're still letting him come in. And within, like, a second, Bondo went from confused and a little scared to sobbing in happiness. Aww. Aw, good for them. What just happened? I mean, we've had chapters of me and Roboco where Roboco barely matters. This is the first one I think that has been a solid, Roboco shows up at the very end just to be like, I don't know what happened. What was this? See, this is... I guess no... This feels like a really weird one to say, but this is where I want Nine Dragons Ball Parade to be. Not in, like, comedy. Like, I don't want it to become a gag series. But I want it to be a series where I can look at the characters and just be very happy that the characters are being the characters. Like, it seems like that's where they're trying to go with the team, and I'm really hoping we get there. I'm rooting for them. Oh my gosh. I completely forgot about this. So even that, like, I was about to say, this was also a very reference-light chapter. But staff, me and Roboco is just good. I mean, I also do appreciate that, like, that is a reference that is funny if you know the reference, but it also is not a joke where the joke is, hey guys, do you remember Hunter x Hunter? Which, like, me and Roboco does do that. I'm not saying that's an inherently bad joke, but I do like that's, like... the reference humor is diverse enough that it's not always the exact same thing. Yeah, like, there's no way in hell that this is not a Kaguya reference. Like, because we got all the way to the end and we didn't get, like, the little narrator box, I thought, like, I mean, I guess this is technically a narrator box, but, that's not a Kaguya box. But, like, even if they don't spell it out, it's so extremely obvious. There are other series that have done funny games like this, but this is so unbelievably typically Kaguya. I didn't get the reference on this one. What does Yunzabit mean? I mean, I'm assuming it's whatever just happened in Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm probably wrong. What could this be? I mean, it's either Jujutsu or it might be One Piece, because I haven't read One Piece this week yet. Oh, it's a Dragon Ball thing. Wait, it is? Really? That's a deep, deep cut. But yeah, that's Roboco. All right, before we do anything else, I'm just gonna quickly whip out Houmie's. Let's see, Home's weekly bad jump rankings. Oh boy, what the fuck is this? Okay, let me try and interpret this one. So, oh, you're approaching me. I mean, it can't literally be JoJo's. So, oh, right. I can just pull this down, actually. I don't need that here. Oh no, if I have this up, then I actually can't see the chat, which kind of defeats the purpose. Wait a minute. I've got a fix for this one. Let me just fix that. Go back to chat. Pull up Excel. Reveal that I am a sad man who pays for Excel. Oh no, whoops. Okay, so zoom in a little. So, please let this 2 out of dimension. Oh, you're approaching me. I might be insane. Run, 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 run. Avoid Chinua draw fights. Dire head. 13. Yeah, this is wild. So, I mean, okay, let's focus on what I actually know. So, obviously, Dr. Stone. 13 days, weeks till the Day of Reckoning. Oda, obviously One Piece. Let's see how far I can go with this. Introducing generic shonen. These are so wild. That one eye panel reminded me of Ren and Stimpy. Okay, that's gotta be Elusive Samurai. I like that one scary panel could be Jujutsu Kaisen, but I know you liked Jujutsu Kaisen. So I'm assuming this is I Love C or I Tell C. I mean, I know you also like I Tell C, but I feel like I like that one scary panel is probably, like, in keeping. Generic shonen boy could be fucking anything. Yeah, you're right. This could be Phantom Seer. Could any of these other ones be I Tell C? Gen Z kid doesn't feel right. Generic shonen boy might be. This feels like the time where I Tell C could do the we're going to just introduce another, like, protagonist or serial killer or some crap. Run, 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 run. It could be Nine Dragons, actually. Because what do you like? I'm just gonna do a pro gamer move real quick and look at your previous rankings in order to tell vaguely what you like. Right, you do read Hardboiled Cop and Dolphin. Gen Z Kid feels very Hardboiled Cop and Dolphin, actually. What could this be? The 2 standing ones. What is Oh Ho, You're Approaching Me? What was in this issue of Jump? Which watch? To be fair, I don't even know if you've dropped some of these. I think that scene was a Golden Wind reference. 13 weeks until the Day of Reckoning. Is this Kamen Rider Ghost? You raise a good point. Might imply getting axed. I'm pretty sure you dropped High School Family. But do you still read Mashal, actually? One Piece is so low as well. That's actually a really big shakeup. Araki's Dire Head. Oh, Sakamoto Days. Oh. The series in this ranking are the same as last week. Okay, so you haven't, like, added anything or changed anything, so if I look at your previous ranking, then I've eliminated a couple already. Undead, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece. Alright, I already did One Piece. Which one of these would be Undead Unluck? I guess Oh Ho, You're Approaching Me. Because that is the, like, this was all 2 people, so... And it was a good chapter. I'm getting too into the weeds. I forgot that also this is a ranking of good and bad chapters. And while I don't respect a lot of your opinions when it comes to your tastes, you do have tastes. So it is very possible that you would like the manga that I know is good this week. I guess I'll go with 13 Weeks Till the Day of Reckoning. Feels like a plot point thing, so I'll make that Yozakura. Oh, what else is there? Please do. So I still haven't done MHA. Run. What could have been a Golden Wind reference to this MHA? There's no way. I'm gonna say Jujutsu then. My hero's probably number 1 this week. Because, yeah, someone already said it in chat, but I do think the, like, 2, people standing up and, like, looking, at the back is, yeah, it's pretty obvious. And that leaves, Phantom Seer, I guess. Is there anything I want to move around? I like that one scary panel could be that, but then I'm definitely not saying that ITEL C was number 4. There's no way. I know you like Phantom Seer. So Phantom Seer goes up here. All right, those are my final guesses. I'm locking it in. I'll just shrink this down a little bit. Okay, so actually, let me pull this back out again. Haha. Because I can just grab this to make it easier for people to actually see on the stream. Okay, so got my hero, got Undead Unluck. Oof, Sakamoto date. I could see that. Okay, fair. This was Jujutsu Kaisen. Dr. Stone. Okay. Drats. 13 weeks till the Day of Reckoning. Got that, got that. 9 Dragons. Elusive Samurai. Okay, you know what? I'm happy with this. I got like half of them right. Really, 13 weeks until chapter 19 for ITEL C. It feels like ITEL C's been around forever already. But no, you're right, that makes sense. Alright, time to delete this, so none will ever be able to see this again. Yeah, if there's a series that I'm not actively following, I kind of start to lose sense of, like, how long it's been around. Like, same with, like, Yozakura Family. I feel like Yozakura Family is actually a lot more recent than it is, even though I understand objectively it's been around for over a year. When I think about it, I always think of it as oh, that's a relatively new series. Alright, let's never do that again. It was fun. It's just, I don't know if I want to burn all that time later on when the chapters get longer. But it was actually a fun time. Thank you very much for contributing. Now, let's move on to author comments. That's a new one. Also, let's go back for a sec. I haven't been following whatever this is. Is this a non-canon situation? Because I actually am, like, I'm not going to scroll down in case I do want to check out this first volume. But I do really like the concept of it being a, like, let's just do non-canon team-ups. Like, it's the sort of thing that manga doesn't do, and it's something I really enjoy with Western comics, where you can have, like, in addition to alternate universe stuff, just, like, we just want these characters to fight, and it's not going to be important, it's not going to tie into anything else. Like, in a serialized story that is absolutely verboten, because you're wasting time that could be used on something else, but just having a spin-off, or having someone else do it, I think is a really cool thing that more series should try to tap into. I'm excited for the My Hero Academia manga universe, which already exists, to be fair. I'm saying I'm excited for it because I like Vigilantes, I like the main series, and, like, there's enough manga that I've read that have, a spin-off, like the main series and a spin-off. But if Team Up is actually good, if it's not just, Smash but without the chibi art style, then I would be quite excited to read that as well. It's monthly author comment time. I might have to buckle and finally read Seraph of the End. Everyone I know who has read Seraph of the End does think it's pretty good. Like, not necessarily unbelievable, but, decent enough. Wait, is this Adora Hidoro? No, this is Blue Exorcist, right. I forgot that Blue Exorcist also had a Blue Knight, or that they specifically called it Blue Knight. Yeah. I am current with Deadpool Samurai, that's it. Like, I haven't been following anything else, but I do really, really like Deadpool Samurai. It is legitimately a good manga and a good, like, Western spin-off. I might do it. Like, I'm already... For those of you who like the YouTube channel, I've said it before in the weekly update, but I'll say it again here. I'm not going to be putting out a lot of new stuff on the channel itself because I really want to do Dorohedoro, and I've said it a bunch of times. I can't even do redirects for Dorohedoro on the channel, so the channel's going to be a little quiet, and I might play around with doing something like Volume 1 of MHA Team Up, and I might just post it in the MHA channel and see how people feel about it. Uh, I did watch, I've read the first chapter a while back. I did do the first chapter or the first episode of World Trigger on the We Watch 100 Isekai podcast. That episode's not out yet, but it's coming down the pipeline. I've had a little taste of it. There's not a whole lot about it that makes me want to read it. So we'll see. Once I finish Dorohedoro, once I'm making progress on Sobote, I'll be more open to actually picking up more non-jump series. But World Trigger's pretty low on the list. Nothing about what I've heard of it makes me want to check it out. One Piece has been especially ramping up for the anime since Wano started. Please check it out. This is it's actually really surprising to get this from Oda. Oda does comments when there, a new movie comes out or when a new attraction comes out. He does promote One Piece stuff. And to be fair, the anime is One Piece stuff. But it feels weird to hear him say, hey, check out the anime. I feel like it's been a real long, cold minute since he's done that. Who's Zet Takajo? I mean, if this is the character that most impacted Kei Kamiki's life, I imagine this has to be a more classic series, right? Oh, so this is an SMT character. Cool. Wait, what's a belly band? Why did they release an Undead Unluck belly band? Does the mangaka perhaps mean I know with some first prints of manga they'll put out not a full dust jacket but a thing that they slip over it? Could it be that, or does the mangaka mean a actual belly band? Okay, it is the thing that goes around the volume. Okay, that's what I meant. Because volume 5 especially, it's a real why is this the one where they released a maternity item? Ooh. I'm such a fan of physical arts. It sucks that we live in a world where, I'm not going to go to a museum or I'm not going to go to an exhibition and, maybe die or get infected. But it sucks. I'll be very excited once the world is at a point where I can safely go out and experience tactile art once more. I do know, I mean, I guess mild spoilers, I've definitely heard about the tournaments and, a bunch of people running around with lightsabers. It's well known that celery stalks are snapped to create impact sound effects. Foley artists are amazing. Now, is that just an unrelated thing, or is it... I probably shouldn't bring up the Dr. Stone chapter in the middle of this. I can't... there's a thing... Yeah, there's definitely an object that falls over in this chapter that I think would make sense as a, celery stalk snap. I thought for a minute Igaki was like, hey, this is a little hint that a character who may have died actually just had a piece of celery, and they just snapped it when it seemed like they were being killed. I don't remember who Potroff was. The one thing I don't really care for with Black Clover, and it's fine... But I'm not a fan of all the characters. I know I say that about every series I have ever read. But I mean it specifically because I feel like Black Clover does, introduce an entire faction and then go, you're gonna reread this volume, right? You're gonna know these names because you're gonna reread them. We're not going to, make you understand what these characters are like. Here's just a bunch of names and character designs. Oh yeah, last chapter they did have the whole Foley work thing. Never mind. You're right, that's actually a lot more relevant than I was thinking of. The author comments always get bad in the second half. I borrowed the name of the toy store from a real toy store. They were so kind to give me permission. That's actually kind of cool. It's surprising that they did that for, a series that is in chapter 4 right now. That's a big game. I guess it's not that big of a gamble. If Nine Dragons fizzles out, they don't really... the toy store doesn't really lose anything. It's not like they're going to pull out a really big, hey, this toy store sells drugs. So it is just a, if Nine Dragons takes off, that's some good co-branding. And if it doesn't take off, whatever. I'm doing 15 pages since the last issue. I've been doing 11 pages since Isabe, so I want to get used to this already. I see Ryo Nakama's really pushing himself to the limit of drawing chapters. Though, to be fair, I say that as if he hasn't actually been doing, 20 pages on some weeks because they keep on releasing double chapters of High School Family. Alright, so those are the author comments. Okay. It's okay. Nothing as great as Oda, promoting the One Piece website or anything. Is fine. Let me delete Houmie's rankings real quick. I don't know, I spent so long on that. I might... I'm gonna leave it in there, but it's not a running thing. Well, I'll leave it there. The slope is a little slippery, but I'm not gonna slip down it. Yeah. This is beyond video one-off. I have canceled Houmie's rankings. Thank you for your submission to Weekly Shonen Thermites. But please bring this back in a few weeks. Work on this one. Give us another one-shot. We might try to run it again. Thank you for your time. I don't want to slip into the... I don't want to make myself completely irrelevant. I know my goal is to create an automated Thermite that will do my live streams for me and my video content for me, but I do not want the automatic Thermite to be Houmii. I feel like that's too far. Okay. That's it. No more slipping. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Catch you later. Bye for now. Yeah.